welcome to Your Family Dog, a podcast dedicated to helping families love living with dogs.
Welcome back to the Your Family Dog podcast. I'm Tina Spring, and today I'm joined not by my typical smart and pretty co-host, but instead by really good friends of mine who have started an amazing project. And I really wanted Your Family Dog podcast to highlight it today. So my guests today are Will Ryan, who is 15. Are you still 15, Will?
I am.
He is. And his wonderful mama, who I have known a very long time. Well, not a long time because she's very young, but who I have known for quite a piece. And her name's Katie Ryan, and we love them. So Will has started a 501c3 nonprofit program called Service Dawg Nation. And his goal is to help improve the quality of life of veterans with PTSD through helping to provide service animals. This all started when he went to visit an organization last summer, and we'll talk more about that. But I wanted to talk about what Service Dawg Nation does and how any of us could help, no matter where we live, if we decide we wanted to do that. So welcome to the Your Family Dog podcast. I'm excited that you guys are here.
Thank you for having us, Tina.
Thank you.
So, Will, tell me about what happened. Well, like what got you interested in providing service dogs for veterans?
So I've always loved animals. Like we have 2 dogs and 2 cats back home and a bunny. But I've also loved helping veterans because they were the ones that fought for our country and helped maintain our freedom. And so by combining the two, there's a need for veterans who have PTSD to have more than just their medications, because the dogs do so much more than just their medications alone can do.
Absolutely. And I mean, we all know that veteran suicide is a major problem. And I love that this really lit up your heart and got you organized. Like organizing a 50c3 is not a simple task. Was it more than you expected?
I mean, it was about what you would expect because I has to go through the government and get approved. But I mean, mine remarkably got approved pretty fast, so I could get started fundraising right off the bat.
That's awesome. So how successful have you been with fundraising so far?
So far, I'm working to raise money to train my second dog, and he's a Bernie Doodle right now, so I'm only a few hundred away from that. But back when I was in 7th and 8th grade, I raised over $10,000 for the training of Chaplin, who's a brown lab.
Very nice, a chocolate lab. So do you find that the veterans prefer certain dogs as their service dogs?
So the organization that I work with, they're based up in Greenville, South Carolina. It's Service Dogs for Veterans. They actually rescue the dog and match it with a veteran, or if the veteran prefers, they can bring in their own house pet dog. And so it's they don't breed the dog specifically to be like that, like how local organizations do it, but they've seen 99% success rate with their dogs and veterans.
So lots of organizations, I don't know if you know this, It Happens does provide service dogs, including for veterans. And we usually are pulling rescue dogs because often dogs that are not super easy to live with for the average family end up being really great service dogs because then they have a job to do. And so many times that is a wonderful win for the dogs and for the people, creating those partnerships that allow a veteran to be really connected, but with something that will never, ever tell any of their secrets. So about what is the cost for training up start to finish a dog for a veteran through the program you're working with?
Through the program I'm working with, it's only around $8,500, but since they rescue the dog, it's makes it cheaper because all the organizations that I looked for, locally around Athens, they breed the dogs here, specifically to be service dogs, and that's more like $30,000.
Right. And that's true. I mean, some service animals are, it can be $65,000 to have the dog fully trained up. Um, so I'm glad that the organization you're working with isn't having all that overhead. I think a lot of times people think the average dog can become a service dog, and that's typically not the case. I usually explain, you guys can't see it, Will just shook his head, right? So if a dog has allergies, if a dog has any environmental sensitivities, like being afraid of other dogs or being reactive in any way or having any aggression whatsoever or worried about loud sounds or anything, the dogs can't be registered as service animals. So many dogs that are really great dogs would flunk out and not be able to be a part of this program. It doesn't mean that they don't love their owners and that they can't provide support at home, but the public access work is actually the much bigger deal. Is that what you observed too?
It is. One of our
Yep.
neighbors up here that I go and work with, her dog actually did fail out, but he's one of the sweetest dogs I've ever met.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it doesn't mean that they're not great dogs. I usually say that it's kind of like being a brain surgeon, right? It's not just about how smart someone is, it's also about their eye-hand coordination and their dexterity. And those things um, are more hit or miss, whether or not a person would have the skill for that. It has nothing to do with how brilliant they are, how good their heart is. It just has to do with how can the dog actually do the job? And I think sometimes people are a little frustrated by that what they might think would make a great service dog is not always a great choice. So, how many veterans has the organization that you're working with helped already?
They've helped over 350 last time I went up there. It was the majority were from South Carolina. They had a few from North Carolina and a few from Georgia, and then they had one from like Tennessee, I think.
I love that. Yeah, that's wonderful. So, um, are you enjoying the process of doing the fundraising and trying to educate the community about this opportunity?
I am. It's a lot of fun to go out and talk about it.
So, I mean, I know you're really young. Are you thinking at some point you'd like to become a dog trainer?
I mean, my dog Megan is a therapy dog, so I think this summer I'm gonna get my junior handlers, like, so I can actually like go around with her. But if I enjoy doing that, then I think I'd love to.
And Megan's fantastic, right? Like we've had such a fun time with her. So Megan's like a really good example, right? Because when I first met Megan, your mom and I joked that she might not know her name, that she was just really happy, but not necessarily all that trainable. But she's ended up really blossoming into a fantastic job. And she just loves everybody, right? Like she would be a terrible service dog because she'd let, you trip and fall because she would be busy saying hello to everyone else. But that makes for a really fantastic service dog. And Harry, your other dog, definitely not service dog material.
Definitely not.
He's like, I'm a stay at home and cuddle my own people kind of dog. So, um, moving forward, do you think like you'll continue to work with the 501c3, really highlighting other organizations and or maybe even um, getting more involved personally yourself as you kind of grow up and move into, becoming an old person like your mom and I?
I've really enjoyed working with the organization in Greenville. So, like, as of right now, I'm just going to continue working with them because I've been up there like 5 or 6 times, and it's just crazy how much it's grown since the first time I've been there.
So my guess is that they have a dedicated training space that all they're doing is training service dogs. Is that the case?
It is.
Right. So they're not like Sid happens. We train probably 6 or 7 service dogs a year for all different situations. Some are for veterans. We actually had someone who had Agent Orange that we trained up a dog for him, and it's really helped his whole family. We've had people with traumatic brain injuries. We've had people with developmental delays or uh, other significant mental health issues that we've helped them. But it's definitely not the primary thing we do. I love that you've found an organization that is what they do primarily. There are some organizations here locally that do, and I don't know that they breed the dogs, but all of my information is like pre-COVID. So I would have to research and find out. So what do you think the coolest thing that they've taught the dogs to do is?
I went up there like a few months ago during the summer, and I got to watch like a beginner class and then a advanced class. And like the beginner class was just like learning how to like sit and stay on like the beds that they provided. And they went over to the advanced class and they were like weaving through like mesh tunnels that they made and like going up like a seesaw ramp. So seeing like all the obstacles they learned to overcome in those few months was really crazy to me.
And then what's been your experience? I'm assuming you're getting to watch the veterans get matched with the dog and to learn how to be good partners to their dogs. That's what we call it in service dog work. What's been most impressive about watching that process?
It's just like all the veterans up there, like you can tell they're different people. Like some of them are quiet, like stick to themselves. Some of them are really outgoing, and their dogs, like if you just took the dogs in a room, you could tell like how their veterans are. Like they do a really good job matching them together.
Yeah. So you think that they are really, the organization is doing a beautiful job of matching like Snoopy and Charlie Brown. Like Charlie Brown is Charlie Brown, Snoopy is Snoopy, but Snoopy and Charlie Brown together are magic.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very cool. So you've helped train Chaplin, right? You helped raise money to take care of him. And how do you know how far away you are from the other dog having all the money raised?
I'm like 400 away right now, so I'm
Oh, I
getting
bet we
close.
can make that happen. I bet we can make that happen. So I haven't mentioned this to you before. Sit Happens, separate from the Your Family Dog podcast, every holiday season supports a single fundraising opportunity. Sometimes it's a family that I know that's in need. Um, and in your case, this year, Sit Happens is going to support Service Dawg Nation.
Well, thank
So
you.
you and I will be talking again with your mom to push out some stuff to kind of help people find Service Dawg Nation and hopefully get you over that $400 hump. I bet we can get that done.
Thank
So
you.
what's been the weirdest thing that you would have never thought about that they have to teach the dogs?
Um, Probably they have like the little, like the tunnel that you have to go through when you're like a little
Right.
kid. They have the dog, they take him off the leash and have the dog like go through that, come back, and then have to go find their veteran. And so, like, I would have never thought that they would have to be able to go through a tunnel. But then, like, when I asked the trainer about it there, she was like, yeah, if the dog like is at a grocery store and they get separated from their veteran, they have to know how to go find them.
Right. I always think it's really cute when we're working with a family we're training up a service dog for them, that they like teaching the handler that they have to like practice grocery shopping with the dog, right? Because it's a much different thing than grocery shopping by yourself. And a lot of times people want to start that right away. And I'm like, no, 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 we're going to pretend grocery shop and then we'll real grocery shop, right? Because when we're training the dog, that's a separate thing. Like most of us can't do two things at once, at least not well. And the dogs need support too as they're learning a new handler. So how old is Chaplin?
Chaplin, when he was around 2 when we went up there. And so he's
Nice.
been trained and graduated and he's
And
with
is working
a
with his
veteran now.
partner.
hmm
That's wonderful. Okay, so Katie, you have got to be so proud of Will and everything he's accomplishing with this.
It's been really cool to see what he's passionate about. I would have never picked this as a project for myself. So it's been really neat to see that that's where his heart is. How much he loves animals, and he's loved animals since he was a little guy. And the the veteran component's been so unique. I really did not expect to be as moved as I was when we watched Chaplain, the lab, get his service vest. It was just tear jerking. I mean, I don't think there was a dry eye in the room to see what the bond that the dog and the veteran had created together and how it transformed his life. I just really didn't comprehend what Will was doing until we saw it at the finish line. And it was so awesome. And, made my heart so happy when we got in the car and Will said, I got to do this again. So I was really for going for it again. Cause he's working hard and hustling and it's not easy to fundraise, but Will loves money and business, and that's a skill set that he has. So he's figuring out how to make it work and send the profits to good. So
well, and I can't imagine that there's a whole bunch of kids in the US who have created a 501c3 by the time they're 15. Like that's going to look good on a college transcript and resume. That's going to look pretty good that you're doing some awesome stuff. And I know that that's not why you're doing it, but it shows the world kind of your family's heart and who Will is as a young man. So, Will, what's the hardest part of all of this?
I don't know if there's like a single, like, this is the hardest part, because like it's just a whole bunch of like little tasks coming together. Like recently I went to my school's holiday market and raised money there, but I've also raised money through like t-shirts and hats and stickers. So like, I mean, everything's challenging in its own way, but there's not like one single point that's like, this is the hardest thing that I need to do.
Are there specific breeds that seem to be better to be service dogs?
I think it's all like up to the veteran and how they need, like their needs for a dog are different than like other veterans' need for a dog.
I would agree. Yeah, they need a dog that's their partner. And that is individual. It's like a fingerprint. So was there an author who kind of touched your heart about all of this? Wasn't there a story about a...
Back in 7th grade, I read a book called A Dog Like Daisy by Kristen Tubb, and that it was about a veteran who also had PTSD and how much his service dog helped him. And so that inspired me to like start my own nonprofit and do everything that I've done today. And I actually had the chance to meet Miss Tubb because she came to our school like, after I did my project.
That's amazing. What did she think about all this?
I think she had similar opinions to my mom, and she was like amazed that I've done what I did and told me I should keep going. So she's still inspiring.
Yeah, you have a lot to be proud of. Like, seriously, like big time proud. I'm proud of you, and I'm not even your mom, right? So do you still have like stickers and t-shirts and things like that available that people can purchase to support the organization?
I still have some shirts and stickers.
Okay.
We're
And are
selling
there other
some.
products? You might do some other stuff in the future or no?
I'm hoping to partner with a barbecue sauce brand because I did hot sauce earlier and they sold out fast. So.
Oh, wow. And I want to say, like here locally in Athens, like Jittery Joe's sometimes does coffee flavors to support charities. Like there are a lot of businesses who really would like jump in and help with stuff like that. So if I can help with any of that, like definitely let me know.
I will.
It's been wonderful talking to you today and learning about Service Dawg Nation and how you're really blessing the world in like a major way.
Yes, ma'am.
So what would you say to other kids who have a passion about something?
And I just tell them to like follow their passion, like my older brother did. He raised money to get a well in Africa. Like if I had to go back, I wouldn't do a project like that. Like I had my dream, he had his. Like just follow what you want to do.
I think it's important, like in the world, if we all take care of the things we're passionate about, everything gets taken care of. Like it's a wonderful view to have on the world. And it's not that one is better or worse, right? We change the world in lots of ways, big and little. So I think what you're doing is like pretty darn amazing. So
Thank,
I'm happy to help spread the word.
thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being on the Your Family Dog podcast. We would love to have you back anytime you're doing a fundraising tip and you can talk about like the next dog that you've sponsored and how all of that is done. And if a veteran or a trainer from the organization wants to come on, we would be happy to have them too. So you can always reach out. If someone who's listening is interested in more information about how to donate to Service Dawg Nation, you can email us at the Your Family Dog Podcast at gmail.com, and I'll get you all the contact information for how to donate so that we can get at least one more dog going for you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Katie?
Thank you for having us. I appreciate
Anytime.
so much. We love Tina and all the work that you've done with four of our dogs, two that have passed, two that we still get to love on.
Yes.
So.
And I always love that your family always has like creative names for pets. And I mean, your animals are always a stitch, no matter how we slice it. Like they're always really like have a ton of personality.
So all of our pets are named after Home Alone characters. So we have Kevin the cat, and we've had
Is
Harry.
that a girl?
Yes, Kevin turned out to be a girl. And Marv, you met our old, and after Marv passed, we got Harry, and now we have Megan, who's one of the cousins, and we had Jack's tarantula. His name is Buzz, and Matt's bunny is named Uncle Frank.
Oh, too cute.
So they're all Home Alone characters.
That's wonderful. That's like, what a great way to name pets. Like our dogs are now all named now and moving forward after Italian, either race car or motorcycle racers, because that's Christopher's tradition. So moving forward, if anybody doesn't come to us with a name already, because a lot of times our dogs do, new dogs will have, we've had an Andiamo. We have Marco, who's named after Marco Simoncelli. We have Dovi, who's named after Andrea Dovizioso. So people are like, Dobie? And I'm like, no, he's named after a motorcycle racer, right? But I love theme when families do that. It was funny when I was on the Humane Society board. One of the things we did one year was reached out to all of our networks as board members to come up with names for puppies and kittens that came in, right? Because that's the hardest thing is like, how do you pick names? And people are going to change them usually anyway. So we had some creative answers, like there was like a kitchen utensil litter. So so there was like whisk and spatula. Like there were all these cute little names. So that's a question. So do the veterans, I'm assuming men or women, do they get to name the dog, or does the dog come to them named already?
If they bring their own dog, then, I mean, they already have a name. But if it's rescued for them, like, they probably get to change it. I mean, I haven't, like, ever asked a veteran, like, did you change the name when it was given to you? But I'd assume they would.
So did Chaplin kind of look like Charlie Chaplin, or did he look like a man of the cloth?
I mean,
you know who Charlie Chaplin is, Will?
I do not.
So Charlie Chaplin was an old-time comedian, like back before films had sound, right? So he was part of that whole group, and he was really kind of iconic. He walked really funny, and he was very, very, very funny. He was a very funny man. And then a man of the cloth like if a chaplain, like for a hospital or for a military group, is usually some denomination of kind of like preacher or priest. So that's what a man of the cloth is. So I threw some things at you that you didn't expect.
What do
It's
you
fine.
think Chaplin's personality was? Was he funny, or do you think he was more
He
of
was
a?
definitely more funny.
I think so too.
He was silly. Perfect. So yeah, we will assume he was named after Charlie Chaplin. All right. Well, I love that you made time this Thanksgiving week to come and spend time with me. And I love that we can share the news about what a wonderful organization you've started and an organization that you work with, because I think that's really phenomenal.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Your Family Dog. Got questions? Interesting ideas? Visit www.yourfamilydogpodcast.com to share your thoughts.